Good Monday morning, everybody. It is June 2nd, 2025. This is the Hat and Beard Show. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you telling a friend. That's what we love about you guys. In case you were wondering, I, of course, am your hostess with the mostest, Hat and Beard. Today we will be discussing mostly Detroit-centric news. It is the off season. We are into OTAs now. We're all very excited about getting a little bit of action, breaking a little bit of the rust off. But to cover our national news segment, we will be walking over to Detroit, Jock City, and the Lions have been gifted leverage against Za'Darius Smith reunion after surprise NFL trade. That's right, there is a little bit of off-season action going on. It appears that all but the ink needs to dry. The Philadelphia Eagles moving Bryce Huff after just 2 years of a $51 million contract. Looks like they're going to be moving him to the San Francisco 49ers, two Super Bowl contending teams, both kind of vying for another defensive end spot. We'll kind of look at what that means and what that means for the Detroit Lions, as a lot of us, not so much now as we get through into the offseason, but at least specifically during the draft, a lot of us really wanted the Lions to go after a defensive end and make a sexy pick, someone that we could pair with Aidan Hutchinson. We can discuss about the possibilities of a Za'Darius Smith reunion. Secondly, tell you what, boys, with OTAs kicking off, the first couple of days, just the small amount of clips I've seen coming out, two things really jumped off the board to me. Number one, I have never seen Jameson Williams looking so good. I get it. I know. Not necessarily the biggest JMO fan around here. Was one of the guys kind of beating the war drum on trading JMO on draft night. However, as we continue to develop and evolve into the 2025 season, look, if you're going to have a Jameson Williams, you better use Jameson Williams to every bit of Jameson Williams you can get. And then reports are coming out. He has matured quite a bit, and I gotta say, looking just at the tape, watching him run, there is a tenacity to his steps, to his cuts. There is some action going on with Jameson Williams, and we've got a MLive article here pulled up from yesterday. Quote, "We expect him to have a huge season, as the Lions aren't hiding their enormous plans for Jameson Williams." So we'll discuss that. And then finally, we will wrap everything up over here from Dave Burkett. We don't generally read the Detroit Free Press. Not really big on your mainstream outlets here. But the Lions OTA observations, Aidan Hutchinson looks like Aidan Hutchinson is of old. And we're going to, if time allows, after we talk about Hutch, we will kind of get into some a little bit of spattering news, some things that we could kind of drum up a little bit of smoke, maybe get our boots muddy while we go mining for some stories. But just some things. Again, this is just OTAs. There are good, and there are things that we need not concern ourselves coming out from OTAs. But guys, we got a poll up here for you. We got 3 votes already. Appreciate it, guys. And that is, will JMO go over 1,500 yards this season? There are no right or wrong answers here, but the options are: bet the dude will become Beast. He will become Beast, the destroyer of worlds. Or no, Hat, you are delusional. There are no right, no wrong answers. So go ahead and get in the poll there. We got people good morning, Mr. Detroit City. Hat. Let's go Lions. Ripping out an old metal mesh fence today. Installing a new one tomorrow. Just working outside listening to the show, baby. Hey, brother. And that's what we're here to do. In case you guys are new here, we do try to hit that old sports talk feel so that you can do stuff while also listening to the Hat and Beard Show. Shout out, Mr. Detroit City. Can I change my poll answer? FJMO. Fair enough. And I Mr. Detroit City, when I was making this poll, I thought about you, and I was like, he's going to be I'm not saying you're a JMO hater, dude. I get where you're coming from. I just know you're not the biggest JMO fan. Good morning, Chase. Hat and Beard, good morning, Mr. Tracy. How you doing this morning, Chase? Good morning, buddy. And guys, big week. Big week 2 of our boy Chase with his big promotion. So big props to him on a big day. JMO over 1,500 yards rushing receiving. Brent DeWitt. Good morning, Brent DeWitt. Good to see you guys all here hanging out. JMO over 1,500 yards total of production. Super attainable. The question then becomes, do we continue to use Jameson Williams as that goofy gadget trick player that Small PP Benedict Arnold Johnson, the trader in the Windy City, had drawn up for him time and time again last year? Or is Jameson Williams just going to be an out-and-out receiver? Look, I have said that the ceiling for JMO this year is 1,600 yards and 16 touchdowns. So putting it at a 1,500-yard cap, I think is a pretty reasonable amount. I think a floor for Jameson Williams is 1,300 yards. I really do. Look, if you're going to have JMO, you got to use JMO with John Morton's downfield passing attack, our rushing attack, and our play-action pass quarterback. Things shape up for JMO to be really, really well. So, guys, before we dive into the show, if you haven't already, would you kindly do me the biggest thing you could do here is go ahead and just assault that like button for me. Get it the old 2-piece and a biscuit on your way down to, if you're new here, go ahead and barrel roll on over. Subscribe to the channel, right? We're all kind of new here, kind of growing. We're just teetering at about that 650 mark. It'd be nice to hit that nice round number, that nice 650 number. So if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And I know what you're asking. You're like, hey, I see you engage with these guys in the chat. People seem to turn out. There must be something going on here. And there is something going on here. Look, man, we got ourselves absolute rock stars of a community. Okay, we are not just football-centric content around here. Look at me. I'm wearing a Raw is War shirt. I wasn't even a wrestling guy until guys like Chasing Chase come up here and start talking to me about wrestling shit. And the next thing I know, I'm watching 2-hour-long documentaries about Cody Rhodes, right? I'm just saying that. We've got a ton of different takes. Brent DeWitt, Mr. Detroit City. We got other guys pop up here. Y'all have your finger on the pulse. You know exactly what's going on. And these cats, you cats down in the chat, I rely on you guys to keep the show going, right? I'm just reading what you guys are putting out. I'm just reading articles. You guys are the ones who seem to be really with your finger on the trigger, knowing what's going on more. And you guys pop up stories. We start talking about. We've gone down some rabbit holes around here. So if you want to be a part of this ragtag group of ragamuffins here, go ahead and ring that notification bell. That way you can be notified every time we go live, currently Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 to 10 a.m. Central, if you're you Cowboys down in Oklahoma. But that, you'll know when we're live. And just fair warning, we're going to kind of keep teasing it. We are in June, so we will start kind of pushing things out a little bit more here. We will be teasing. We will be going 5 days a week here, the closer that we get to the regular season. The sooner you're in here, the more you can be in the chat, the more you can engage, become part of the community. And then once we hit 5 days a week, you're just locked in, ready to rock and roll as we help push our Detroit Lions to a never-before-seen 17-0 with a perfect season on our way to a Super Bowl victory over the Buffalo Bills in 2020. Well, it'll be 2026 at the time. So finally, the last thing you can do to help the channel grow, click the share button. I totally understand. This season is for Val Kilmer. Yes. Dude, Mr. Detroit City. Do it for the Iceman. Come on, guys. Do it for Ice. Come on, Iceman. We can do it for the Iceman, fellas. Hutch needs to cut his hair into a high top like Iceman had in Top Gun. That's what Hutch should do. That's what we got to do. We got to get Hutch on the Iceman high top. Share this video around with all your friends. Look, I get it. You don't want to be affiliated with the Hat and Beard Show. I don't want to be affiliated with me either. We all have our well-groomed, cultivated, and manicured social media presence. So just click the share button, copy that link down on the clipboard. You don't have to share it around with all your friends. Your grandma never has to know that you watch the show. That being said, we are the largest, fastest growing Detroit Lions and NFL content creation station on YouTube, streaming exclusively in the 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time block, broadcasting from Grandma's Studio One. And I do have to say, you guys, so just kind of keep out in the weeds a little bit. We're going to get a little long in the tooth. I'm here, Huckleberry. Hell yeah, Brent DeWitt. Shout out, you guys. Good morning, Grandma Kim, Grandpa George. I found out Grandma Kim and Grandpa George watch the show like regularly. So I think that's super awesome. So shout out to you guys. I really appreciate it. Grandma Kim had some really nice words of encouragement, and I genuinely appreciate the support. Both you guys in the chat, you guys watch, and it's super awesome. So thank you so much. Now, finally, let's get into the Shiggity Show.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Hell yeah, I'm here, Huckleberry. I love the fact that you guys get my references and that we all are kind of on that same wavelength, man, because in reality, so I'm 37. There's only been a couple celebrities that have ever died that like actually like impacted me. Not like I was like, oh my gosh, but like they're celebrity. You know what I'm saying? They're not real people. But some celebrities, and when they died, it kind of just like hit me a little bit differently. Number one being Robin Williams. When Robin Williams passed, that kind of just fucked with me a little bit. And two, I was really bummed out. I mean, I knew it was going to happen. We've all known the story of Val Kilmer, the cancer, and what he went through. But when Val Kilmer passed, it really bummed me out, man. I'm a big Val Kilmer fan, just a big Val Kilmer fan. So now that we've done glazed the Iceman for a little bit here, let's roll on over to Detroit Jock City. Lions gifted leverage against Za'Darius Smith reunion after surprise NFL trade. The Detroit Lions and Za'Darius Smith have been trending toward a reunion next season, but the money hasn't checked out. The Lions released Smith over a $2 million roster bonus in March, and the 32-year-old has spent his time hanging around Detroit and waiting for his former team to give him a call. While the price hasn't been right, Smith continues to wait the Lions out, but Brad Holmes gained the perfect amount of leverage as a major NFL trade could have the former Pro Bowler returning to Detroit on their terms. That's right. That's you gotta love it when it's a buyer's market. Bryce Huff trade gives the Lions perfect leverage against Za'Darius Smith. ESPN's Adam Schefmeister, the Schefter, was one of several outlets to break the news that the Philadelphia Eagles are trending towards trading Bryce Huff to the San Francisco 49ers. The deal has not become official and isn't supposed to go through until after June 1. That could be as early as today, as it is June 2. But Huff has already reworked his contract to help facilitate the trade. There you go. There you see Bryce the Bust Huff. Huff is entering his second year of a 3-year, $51.1 million contract, but fell out of favor in Philadelphia. After collecting a career-high 10 sacks and 67 quarterback pressures with the New York Jets in 2023, Huff saw his pressure rate drop from 20% to a abysmal 12.1% in Philly, no less, where Philly has defense on defense on defense. Defense wins championships as long as they keep pushing the old tush to Jalen Hurts and having a solid defense, according to the Pro Football Focus, and was a healthy scratch for the Eagles' Super Bowl win over the Kansas City Chiefs. That's not a $51 million player. Sure, it's $51 million over 3 years. You don't want that guy scratched in a Super Bowl game. The deal is a reunion for former Jets head coach Robert Saleh, who is entering his second stint as the defensive coordinator for the 49ers, but is also leaves Smith with one less option to find a home in 2025. And I was actually bummed out. Robert Saleh signed on as a defensive analysis for the Packers last year. A small part of me was hoping, obviously you guys know me here at the Hat and Beard Show. We were all about the Kelvin Shepherd hire, but a small part of us kind of really like Robert Saleh, and a small part of me was hoping Robert Saleh would become our new defensive coordinator. He's got the pedigree of a defensive coordinator that you really like to see. However, it's not the Dan Campbell way of doing it. We are going to reward the players in-house and move up Kelvin Shepherd to have a monster of a defense this year. Smith was still effective as a pass rusher last season, collecting 9 sacks and 67 quarterback pressures between the Lions and the Cleveland Brown Eyes. While teams are always looking for help on the edge, Smith has limited options thanks to some of the bridges burned and a high asking price that has prevented his return to Detroit. And he's on the very wrong side of 30. It will be interesting to see whether Smith and Lions can find common ground on a reunion, but with the season approaching, Smith is running out of time and may have to cave in if he wants to return to Detroit. Now, this is where we kind of, oh shit, shout out, pray for Bruce Willis. Oh, dude, is Bruce Willis not doing so good? I know he's got a real aggressive form of dementia. It's the same one as Wendy Williams. He's not doing so hot, huh? I knew it was going to be one of them. You haven't seen Bruce Willis in much. You knew his health is deteriorating. With that, you go from bad to worse real quick. So, damn, that sucks, guys. That sucks for Bruce Willis. I like Bruce Willis, man. That sucks big time. So around here with the old Za'Darius Smith, I think what we're getting is a little bit of recency bias. We all like the personality, the swag, the energy of Za'Darius Smith, let's be honest. He feels like Rasheed Wallace, right? But the reality is, if he's going to be a butthole and hold out for more money than he's actually worth, fuck it. I ain't signing you. Fuck it. We got too many damn defensive ends in-house as is. And if I really need a guy to be a pass rush specialist, I'm going to go sign Von Miller. Fuck it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Keep Z in the D. Davenport can't be counted on. 21 games in 3 years. Sometimes the trend is not your friend. You know, dude, and that's the problem. Brent DeWitt, you nailed you just crushed it right there, dude. The coaches are so high on Marcus Davenport, and I want to believe in Marcus Davenport. I want to believe in Marcus Davenport. Availability is the best ability, mi amigo, and you're just shitting the bed, man. I need you to be available. I needed you to be available at least for half the season last year, and you just, by no fault of your own, your body just isn't holding up the way that it's supposed to, the way that we need now. Can we piecemeal it together between... Look, man, I'm going to be real. The more and more and more I see of Ahmed Hassanin, guys, I think we got a sneaky steal with that guy, man. I get it. He's not massive. He's not the quickest. He's got that motor in him, though. That motor. The motor that Hassanin has is the motor that the guys in Detroit, the head coach, the brass, they look for. If I can get that motor, I can unleash that motor. I can coach up the skills. I think Hassanin might be a sneaky. I think we might be sleeping on Ahmed Hassanin. Oh, yeah. Let him walk for the dogs. And that's the thing, you guys. Brent DeWitt, Mr. Detroit City, having a conversation about Big Z down in the chat. If we're going to bring back Big Z, if Z's coming back into town, first of all, we have to move players. We have to open up some spots along the defensive line. We are very heavy along the defensive line, both defensive end and defensive tackle. And I don't mean size-wise. I mean, we got a lot of bodies, right? So injuries either have to happen. Guys have to be moved on. And in conjunction with that, Za'Darius Smith, it has to be a team-friendly contract. You cannot overpay for Za'Darius Smith, not for what he brings now, not for what he is at this stage in his career. Ahmed is going to dominate. Left Egypt, found Jesus. And now God is, and that's the thing, dude. That's the thing, Mr. Detroit City. That's what I like about Ahmed Hassanin. He's one of those guys, and you're really starting to see it now, especially with these younger players. Very, very open with their faith. Very, very faith-based players. I personally think it's very refreshing. Culturally, we need to start putting Jesus more in the forefront for people. But Hassanin's got just this some raw talent to him that I really, really like. I think maybe not this year, but give him a year. Next year, give him 1 year to develop this year. Give him a full offseason. Next year, Hassanin could be just an absolute animal. So there's our national news segment talking about Bryce Huff, who's really just shit the bed. I mean, that is a giant drop-off to go from, where to say, he had a 20% pressure rate to 12.1. That is a massive drop-off. So the Niners might be able to make something happen. Again, Bryce Huff has a little familiarity with old Bob Saleh. Bob Saleh. So we're going to barrel roll on over here to MLive, you guys. Let's get into what we all are really here to talk about, and that is our Detroit Lions. Boys. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, assault that like button, and share this around with all your friends. Now we are going to talk about something. It's been a storyline, dude. It's been the talking point during the draft. Jameson Williams has been on the tip of everyone's tongue. Yeah, he had his, and I joke about he had his 1,000-yard breakout season with 1,001 yards. Woohoo! But he still went over 1,000 yards. And when you're the 3-3A receiving option on the team, obviously by pecking order, it should go Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta, and then Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. That is kind of how our offense is designed. So Jameson Williams really has to scrap his way up. So for being the third receiving option, the number 2 wide receiver on the team, And having an all-pro top 3 wide receiver be the number 1 on the opposite side of the field from you, taking a lot of attention away, both offensively from the game plan and defensively, trying to scheme you out. Jameson Williams has to kind of scrap out for yards. And we know that the career trajectory from him was off to a rocky start. Yeah, he was injured, and then he got suspended, and it's just been kind of a murky thing. Last season, he did start to break out. However, this year we know that Jameson Williams has been able to develop both mentally and physically. Reports are he has matured quite a bit, being much more of an adult, a grown-ass man, which we like to see. Is what we called for. We needed it to have happen. But I got to be honest, guys, watching him run at OTAs, holy shit, man. I know Jamo's an athletic freak, but I have never seen Jameson Williams like this before. I have never said, this is the best version of Jamo I've ever seen. He is poised for a massive massive season, and the Lions are expecting him to have a huge season. They aren't hiding their enormous plans for Jameson Williams. This came out yesterday. Again, this is from MLive.com. The Detroit Lions coaching staff is putting the football world on notice. One of their young receivers isn't just developing, he's maturing and aims to become not only a pivotal offensive weapon, but a centerpiece of the offense in 2025. That player, none other than wide receiver Jameson Williams, drafted 12th overall in the 2022 draft. Williams' career up to this point has been a rocky at times, marked by a mix of injury, suspension, and most recently, a breakout season. He missed a significant portion of his rookie year because of a knee injury. Then he served a 4-game suspension in 23 for violating the NFL's gambling policy. Then in 2024, a breakout year where he recorded his first 1,000-yard receiving season, 1,001 yards to be exact, with 7 touchdowns. That's a pretty good ratio. I think he did on like 60-some catches. So go ahead and throw another extra 20 catches on there, get yourself up around them 80 catch yard mark. You're going to be hitting that 1,300 yards easily. The Lions see so much promise in the young receiver. The team flexed his 5th-year option alongside Aidan Hutchinson, which shows their dedication to continuing to build on his somewhat untapped potential in hopes of repeating and bettering his stats from last season. Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell said Williams has had a good spring, impressed with his versatility, which will, in turn, open up more opportunities for the offense. Quote, "Oh my God, he's got a ton of growth left. There's so many things that we can do with his routes on the outside," Campbell said during a press conference at OTAs on May 30th. "I mean, we could do things inside, but just with his speed, and he's gotten so much stronger. His ability to stop, put his foot in the ground, man, when you see it, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you see him run like that, he can run now, and you're beginning to see where you can stop on a dime." Yeah, you talk about hard to cover, and that's what I'm talking about. It's watching him not run straight. It's watching him run, stick his foot in the ground, the brakes. You talk about the wheels on Jamo. Let's talk about the brakes on Jameson Williams. I don't want to get too hype. It's going to be a very impressive season out of Jameson Williams if things go the way they're supposed to go. Quote, "The sky's the limit for him. He's exactly where we want him to be right now at this point. He's been here. He's grinding. He's getting better," Scotty Montgomery said, "freaking grinding him. It's awesome. We expect him to have a huge season. We really do. He's going to be one of the guys that we're going to lean on this year, and he is really going to be big for us. All he's got to do is just keep working like he's working, and we'll be good." Watch the video above of Williams and Campbell. Williams was relaxed and poised while speaking with the media after OTAs. His expectations for himself are, quote, "the usual," expecting to go out there and make plays that come on his name. Williams was modest, saying he just wants to help the team win games. Quote, "Ever since I really got inspired into working hard as a kid, with my pops, I always had the same mindset. You go out there and be the best, working hard," Williams said. "My dad, he always texts me like, I'll work everybody, no matter who it is, I'll work everybody, so that's where my mentality is. I guess I was just going into my year 4. I got a little pep in my step. I'm becoming a vet, moving over from the rookie stage, and I'm just ready to play more football and more consistent for my team. JMO, do you watch my channel? JMO is a roadrunner. Beep beep and bye bye. Exactly, Brent DeWitt. He's lights out. Routes have been getting more and more precise every year. Should be a great year for him. I'm telling you, dude, his routes have been getting. If you look at JMO in Alabama versus JMO last year, his routes are crispy. Brother, if you look at Jameson Williams between last year and this year, ooh wee, sucker, it is lights out, man. He's JMO's got the juice, man. He's got the juice. That's all I'm saying. JMO's got the juice. But for real, JMO, if you watch my channel, shout out, bro. Because didn't I say he needs to transition from being a rookie over into being a veteran? He needs to mature. You know, I just want to make Hat and Beard. Chase, wouldn't that be hilarious, dude? What if he actually said, he's like, hey, man, I'm just trying to make my boy Hat and Beard proud. Shout out, dude, Jameson Williams. He said he's hungry to get the ball and advance further in the playoffs after back-to-back years where the team fell short of a Super Bowl berth. First against the Niners in 23 and then against the Commies in 24. I'm real hungry. I think people really don't realize how bad it is until you get to that game where you're one game away from the Super Bowl. You know, that was the one that hurt me the most. I felt most hurt losing to the Niners than I did to the Commanders because it was one game away. You know, it's just one play away. I guess we've got a chip on our shoulder. Everybody remembers it, but we are not dwelling on it. We got a long season ahead of us. We got big games this season. I'm kind of really moved on from the past, you know, but it's still there, just for that little chip of fire that we need to get forward. As for his maturity, Williams said he's a little older, and with that, he sees that life and football can enrich each other, being a role model for rookies and building himself up at the same time. Quote, just getting older and maturing myself, talking to more people, opening up to more people, getting more advice from everybody. That helped me a lot. When he asked if he felt like a different guy, Williams said no. He said, I'm still the same person. I just got a lot of things differently. So, you know, this could be a couple things. He could be hearing people like the Hat and Beard Show, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Wednesday at youtube.com. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. He could be feeling a little bit of pressure from Isaac to Slaw, maybe. What I like, though, is the things that I'm seeing on tape and the things that I am hearing from not only JMO, the way he talks, but the way people talk about him. It's exactly what we needed. We needed him to elevate his skill set and be elite all the time, as well as develop the brain upstairs. Now, Jameson Williams, if there's one thing you could do that might help you tremendously a lot, my friend, go ahead and open yourself up to Jesus, my dude. Go ahead and open yourself up to Jesus and take that final step. Become him, JMO. Take that step. Down in the chat, I heard JMO was explaining to one of the rookies how he beat him. Love the way he's helping and teaching. Dude, that's the Brent DeWitt. That's the mentality, brother. That's that maturity that we wanted to see out of JMO. No more, is it? Waymo the rookie. Waymo ballin'. Now it's Jameson Williams, I play football. My name is Jameson Williams, and I play football. That's what we need out of JMO. None of this off-the-field shit. None of this, you know, as nice it is to see you out in the community, giving back to the community, wanting to be embraced and loved by the community that does love you. When it comes time to play football, I need you to be Jameson Williams, the football player, not Jameson Williams, the social media influencer, not Waymo, the party animal. I'm Jameson Williams, and I play football. That's what I need out of you, my guy. Cool. So now that we talked about JMO, let's talk about the other guy drafted same year as JMO, and that'd be our Michigan Mayhem man. The guy who, when his leg broke, all of our hearts collectively shattered last year. I'm going to be walking on over to Detroit Free Press. Detroit Lions OTA observations. Aidan Hutchinson looks like Aidan Hutchinson of old. Now, let's keep in mind, guys, there are no pads, there are no contact. But see Hutch out there running drills. I mean, come on. I mean, his leg was a spaghetti noodle down in Dallas less than a year ago. Now, we've been watching lots of, things pop up on Hutch throughout the season. or offseason, and his rehab, he's been looking really, really well. When they showed him rolling out, walking out, I was ecstatic to see Hutch back out on the field grinding. I'm telling you, he's going to have 69 sacks this year. So over here, we got Dave Burkett doing a little bit of work for us. This is after the end of last week. Obviously, there's still a few days this week of OTAs, but over at the Detroit Free Press, if you guys haven't already, would you kindly subscribe to the channel if you're new here, ring that notification bell so that you can never miss out on any content Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. with plans to expand to 5 days a week. Come closer to the start of the regular season. Share this video around with all your friends, and of course, assault that like button while you're down there rooting around in the bathtub underneath the video. Go ahead and hit it with the old 2-piece and a biscuit. It generally helps the channel grow out. Before we hide into this article, let's walk down over to the chat. In the immortal words of Scott Mitchell, maturity is not an age, it's a destination. JMO is here. I think you're right, Brent DeWitt, and you're right. It's not age, it's a destination. I think we are starting to see the evolution and maturity of Jameson Williams. Cheeseheads are calling him a crutch Hutch, and I don't think it's going to bounce back. Oh, well, okay. Okay, Packer Nation. Okay, sure. Yep, he's not going to bounce back. He's crutch Hutch. Okay. Okay. You think that, Green Bay. You think that right up until the time Hutch just flattens Jordan Love. We have to play it twice this year. Hutch gonna get you. Hutch gonna get you. Hutch is gonna get you. And if Hutch doesn't get you, fine. Kirby Joseph's just going to continue to own you. I mean, we have the best safety. We have the best 2 safeties in the game. But Kirby Joseph has owned the Packers. Let us not forget, Packer fans. A few years ago, you guys had a back-to-back NFL MVP, Super Bowl winning quarterback, the greatest thing ever, the top 3 quarterback in the NFL. And his last game in Lambeau, he threw 1, 2, I know 2, maybe even 3 interceptions to Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph has owned the Cheeseheads. We own the Cheeseheads, and you can huff all the copium you want about Aidan Hutchinson, but when assholes meet elbows, he's going to absolutely dismantle your offensive line. He's going to destroy Jordan Love. So good luck to you, Green Bay fans. Can't wait for Hutch to bury Love Dove into the Tundra week 1. Hell yes, dude. FTP. Hey, good morning. ARF, FTP. That's exactly it, dude. And welcome to the channel. FTP 150%. Pack cheese, sir. Yes, dude. I can't stand the Packers. And you guys know I'm super biased when it comes to Aidan Hutchinson. He's my guy, dude. Aidan Hutchinson is my guy. So, all right, guys, let's get into this article here. Poll's doing pretty well, huh? All right, cool. Aidan Hutchinson walked off the field, helmet in hand, with 2 of his defensive line mates about 15 minutes before the end of Detroit Lions' 3rd practice of OTAs Friday, May 30th, in Allen Park. Hutchinson wore a compression sleeve on the left leg that he broke in the Lions' Week 6 win over the Dallas Cowgirls last season, but his early exit had nothing to do with the injury. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Lions finished team drills with Hutchinson starting at 1 defensive end spot and looking like the same player who led the Lions in sacks the past 3 years. Coach Dan Campbell sent a couple veterans to the locker room early. Their work done for the day. Hutch looks great. OTAs looks good, Campbell said before practice. The media's first look at Hutchinson since the injury October 13th. He's moving well. You don't see him favoring anything, and he's bending. He's grabbing the grass. He looks confident. And there again, that's without pads on, so there's nothing to tell me that, man, the guy is not recovered or is going to be recovered. Everything's trending upwards. Oh, God damn it. Sorry, fellas. This is the problem with the free press. You can't click anywhere. The Lions don't need Hutch healthy and on the field for another 3 months. Still their September 7th season opener against the Green Bay Packers, which was all more reason to celebrate his presence at OTAs. On a day when no fewer than 19 players did not practice for a variety of mostly health-related reasons, Hutchinson was on the field and moving well in team and individual drills. During position drills, he dropped into coverage, chipped an assistant coach pretending to run a shallow crossing route, then turned to rush the passer one play. He sunk his hips as he changed directions from dropping into coverage to rush a passer on another. So he's moving fluid. His everything is solid. No hitches. No drags. In team drills, he played both right and left defensive end, and on one rush, shoved all-pro right tackle Penei Sewell into the backfield. Iron sharpens iron. He looks great to me, cornerback Enos Rakestraw Jr. said. I'm happy he's back. Hutch still has a few milestones hit his recovery. He hasn't practiced in pads or taken a cut block yet, and he won't for another couple of months. Let that leg get fully rehabbed. But it's late May, and he looks right about where he should be for the Lions team that's one of the best in the NFL. Also when he's on the field. More observations from the Lions practices. Big names sit out OTAs practices. A number of players did not participate or were limited to mostly walkthrough drills. Alex Pepperoni Anzalone and Frank the Tank Ragnow are away from the team this spring in hopes of landing new contracts. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, David Montgomery, Terrion Arnold, Lee McNeil, DJ Reader, Derek Barnes, Levi Onwuzurike, Josh Pascal, Malcolm Rodriguez because of his knee, Broderick Martin because he sucks, Makai Wingo, Sione Vaki, Isaac Slaw, Kenny Yarborough, and Miles Frazier were among those who sat out drills. That is a lot of bodies. I'm not surprised, though, with the veterans. I wouldn't put too much emphasis on Alex Anzalone and Frank Ragnow sitting out because of contracts. We did talk briefly about the Anzalone trade rumors. That I'm not willing to put too much weight behind that right now because that hurts my anus too much. And Frank Ragnow, be it that he has had injury issues in his past and is a veteran, the idea of him missing OTAs because of contract or because of health, I'd lean more into the health reasons than into the contract reasons. Again, I think Frank Ragnow might be one of those guys toying with retirement. Action Jack Campbell and Levi Onwuzurike went through the team's pre-practice walkthroughs, but did not participate in team drills. Campbell said he underwent a minor procedure on his hip this offseason, and Dan Campbell indicated most other injuries are minor. Quote, a number of guys were just trying to be smart, he said. We got a little dings here and there, and we're just trying to make sure everybody's good. If we didn't learn from the health injuries last year, health should be one of our top priorities. So this is the time of year to make sure that we're being a little more conservative with those types of things. And they're here. They're in meetings, and so everybody's locked in, and we're excited. Everybody's locked in, and we're excited. We have to emphasize health. Okay, we need to maybe put a little bit more on health than we have been in years past. Speaking of Sewell, what the fuck is wrong with PFF ranking number? Oh, dude, yeah, Brent DeWitt. PFF can go eat a colossal, just a massive heaping plate of shit. Penei Sewell's the best offensive lineman in football. Okay, so that is just biasy against the Detroit Lions. That is complete bullshit. Penei Sewell's the best offensive lineman in all of football. He fit him for his gold jacket already. The dude's a Hall of Famer. ARF, thanks. I'm completely new here. I did sub, but won't call you delusional. LOL 15 seems a bit high. Fair enough, ARF. Welcome. I appreciate you joining, dude. Hopefully you find a nice little community here that you can hang out in, talk some Detroit Lions stuff. The reason that I put the 1,500 yards on Jameson Williams is I am drinking way too much of the Kool-Aid. Okay, if I had been drinking a lot of Kool-Aid during the 0-16 years of the Detroit Lions, now I am just basically mainlining that shit right into my veins, dude. I have such high expectations for John Morton to unlock Jameson Williams simply because of his passing game coordination of the Denver Broncos last year, seen Bo Nix take more downfield passing attempts, I think, than 30 other teams in the NFL. I think he was the number 2 in yards or pass attempts over 20 yards. I think Jameson Williams will be unlocked simply because of teams putting more of an emphasis on shutting down our run game. We have 2 dynamic running backs, 2,000-yard rushing running backs, 2 10-plus touchdown running backs. And when you have such a monstrosity of an offensive line and such a lethal running game, it allows us to run play action, Jared Goff being one of the better play action passing quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think we're going to see a lot more downfield shots at Jameson Williams. I think we're going to see more times than not, the 4 catches for 120 yards, Jameson Williams, than the 4 catches for 40 yards, Jameson Williams, if that makes sense. I think you're going to see a lot more downfield shots, and I've called for a ceiling on JMO this year to be 1,600 yards, so I thought the 1,500 was a nice round number. Anything over 1,300 yards for Jameson Williams, I will consider a victory because I put a 1,300-yard floor on JMO. I put a 1,300-yard ceiling on Amon-Ra St. Brown with more catches and more touchdowns than Jameson Williams, if any of that makes sense. Don't blame Frank for not wanting to risk injury if he's got no guaranteed money left on his contract. Exactly. I think Frank Ragnow is more of an injury situation. Just say ARF. Gotcha. So it's just ARF? ARF. Right on. Mr. Detroit City. I'll believe in JMO when I get vaccinated. All right, that was good. That was funny, Mr. Detroit City. That's fair. That's fair. And I get where you're coming from, brother. I get where you're coming from. Jameson Williams is kind of a divisive guy. You know what I'm saying? The fandom. I think you either kind of love or hate Jameson Williams. I am currently in the 5th-year contract. They're planning around him. I'm going to love Jameson Williams simply because of what he can be. I want to see what I want him to show me. Show me. Be that guy. Do it. Do it and do it all the right way. You know what I'm saying? So I want to see JMO and I want to believe in Jameson Williams right now. All right, we got a little bit more time here, guys. We'll keep reading. Jared Goff getting more work. Goff took every rep I saw in Lions' pre-practice installation period with both the first and second team offenses. I don't recall him getting as much work in the past, and it's possible that load was due to the Lions having a new offense, even if there's plenty of carryover from one of they ran the past 3 years under small PP Benedict Arnold Johnson, the trader in the Windy City, and a shortened spring. That's right. We are cutting one of the mini camps because of our condensed spring window, be it that we have the Hall of Fame game July 31st. Hendon Hooker was worked in the second quarterback rotation ahead of Kyle Allen and what promises to be a quarterback battle all summer. Yep, can't wait to watch Kyle Allen and Hendon Hooker just slog it out for Jared Goff's backup. I love watching geriatric Down syndrome patients just fight each other. Neither quarterback looked great throwing the deep ball, with Hooker missing bombs to running back Kyle Robichaux, who appeared to slow down halfway through his route, though the throw would have landed out of bounds anyway. And Jackson Meeks, who, if I'm not mistaken, Jackson Meeks is Za'Darius Smith's nephew, who had a step on Stanley Thomas Oliver, and Allen overthrowing consecutive passes to Leaf and Jacoby Keeney James late in the team period. Hooker also badly missed an open running back on his second of 4 plays in 11 on 11 work. He rolled to his left on a play to avoid pressure. The play likely would have resulted in a sack and threw across his body over the open running back's head in the middle of the field. So a stupid throw. Lions quarterback coach Mark Brunell said Hooker and Allen's play in preseason games will factor heavily into the backup decision. So it wouldn't read too much into the results of the non-padded practice in May. Still, it's at least notable that neither quarterback appears to be pulling away with the number 2 job. Shitty. Shitty. And guys, I was very high on Hendon Hooker when we drafted him. I was like, awesome possum. Frankly, at this stage, I really think that the best thing that Hendon Hooker could do is to put on the royal plum and champagne with baby blue of the Michigan Panthers. I think he'd be a great UFL quarterback. I think he'd be an outstanding UFL quarterback. That being said, hey, conference championships this weekend. Michigan Panthers playing Birmingham for the USFL conference championship for the right to compete for the second UFL championship. What can he be? Well, shit, brother. If I grow wings, I'll be a bird, but some things won't happen. Hey, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. If my grandma had been born with wheels, she'd have been a wagon. If some butts were candies and nuts, then we'd all have a Merry Christmas. Let's take a little look at the right guard situation. There's our boy Christian Mahogany, who I am personally insanely high on. Oh, my Hooker missed a pass in pajama camp. He must be a bust. Brent DeWitt. I love that name, pajama camp. That's what we're going to start calling them. OTAs or pajama camp. Look, I don't know, man. When you're starting to look at the backup quarterback position battle, which we will be focusing on during the offseason, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know, man. I don't think I obviously I've always said Brad Holmes and the brass know more than we do, and it was a big indicator when they signed Teddy Bridgewater ahead of the playoffs that they don't trust Hendon Hooker. Signing Kyle Allen, they don't trust Hendon Hooker. I think they just know something about it. If my grandma had a dick, she'd have been my grandpa. Exactly, dude. Exactly. So let's take a look at the right guard situation. I didn't get a chance to talk to Graham Glasgow like Hutchinson. He had several of the Lions' veteran offensive linemen left the field early, but he spent practice playing right guard, position he played in 23 before moving to left guard last year. Glasgow had a better season in 23 than he did in 24 when he switched sides to accommodate Kevin Zeitler, and it's possible he'll return to form this fall playing the position he seems to favor. Christian Mahogany, a sixth-round pick last spring, took first-team reps at left guard, and rookie Tater the Ratledge worked exclusively at center with veterans Taylor Decker and Sewell at tackles. One of Glasgow, Mahogany, Ratledge will be the odd man out once Ragnow returns. Ratledge started 3 years at right guard at Georgia and should compete for a starting job at right guard this summer. But if the Lions don't have designs on giving Ragnow a new deal, Ratledge is getting enough work at center that he could be the future at that position. We talked about that because that's what they did with Frank the Tank Ragnow. He came into the league as a guard, spent a year at guard before transitioning over to center. On the second-team offensive line, the Lions used Giovanni Manu, not Manu Ginobili like I always say, at left tackle. Netani Muti at left guard, Colby Sorsdahl at center, and Kyoto Awashika at right guard with Dan Skipper at right tackle. So that right there is something I noticed pop up. Colby Sorsdahl has never played center before, and he's trying to find a spot in the roster. Obviously, that guard room is too full for you, bud. And we've tried you at tackle. You're not athletic enough to play tackle. So, if you want to be on this team, you better fucking carve yourself out a spot. And if that means you better learn how to play center, well, boy, if you want a spot on this roster, you better figure out how to snap that ball between your legs. The punt returner department, Tom Kennedy, TK85, had a rough day fielding punts. Kennedy, who went second in punt return rotation behind Cleve Raymond, dropped his first punt on the field, let the second hit the ground near the 5-yard line, and a third punt slipped through his hands. That is not good, TK85. Raymond is one of the NFL's top return men, so the job is clearly his, so as long as he stays healthy. But Keenan James, J-Mo, DJ Reed, and Kirby Joseph also took turns catching punts. Keenan James bounced between practice fields and Lions special teams period, fielding one punt, then taking a rep at gunner before returning to catch another punt. He made a nice play down one punt at gunner, then leaped to tap. Nobody cares. Special teams Grant Stewart, who took some of the team's first linebacker reps with Anzalone, Campbell, Barnes, and Rodriguez out, played as Jack Campbell's personal protector on only live punt of the practice with Rakestraw and Rockison as gunners. Do we want to talk about Enos Rakestraw? Dirtbag is going to be the fixture of our O-line for years. GG is looking like Father Time might be catching up to him. Manu is the wild card in the O-line battle. Colby is like a girl you're about to dump. Starts to get really willing to try all sorts of different things out there, but who knows deep down she's a gooner. Yo, Brent DeWitt, you're on fire today, my guy. You are on fire. I'm sorry, Mr. Trey City, you're on fire today. Brent DeWitt, though, I agree with you. Dirtbag is going to be a fixture on our offensive line for a long time. I think Manu is going to be kind of groomed to be the Dan Skipper replacement. Frankly, I think what you seen in 23 out of Graham Glasgow was Penei Sewell, the Penei Sewell effect, making him look real good. Once he was put over on that left side of the line with Taylor Decker, who's not as good of a tackle as Penei Sewell, you see him really start to slip up and slide down. Kevin Zeitler obviously was a natural right guard spot. So, frankly, the more we trudge on through the offseason, the closer we get to spring, I'm starting to think Glasgow might be the odd man out, man. I really do. Unless he's going to be our interior offensive line rotationary player, that center guard guy, I just don't see a spot for him. I think Ratledge is a lot better. I think Mahogany's better. I think you got to look to the future and the money there. It makes sense money-wise. Enos Rakestraw Jr.'s chance. I'll have more on Rakestraw this weekend, but he got a significant work at the outside cornerback with first-team defense across from Rock Ya-Sin. Rakestraw was injured most of last season and spent the fall playing slot cornerback when he was on the field. He's healthy now, motivated to have a big year, and has a chance to be the Lions' number 3 outside cornerback behind Arnold and DJ Reed. Not a lot of great plays to note from our first open practice of the spring, but the Lions secondary had a couple of nice pass breakups in 7-on-7 drills. Joseph made a nice read on Goff's pass while sinking back in coverage on the first play of the period, and Morris Norris blanketed Sam Laporta and appeared to get a deflect Goff's next pass, just enough that it bounced off of Laporta's chest. Rakestraw nearly had an interception later in the period on an overthrown pass to Tom Kennedy, and Ezekiel Turner blanketed Craig Reynolds on another play out of the backfield when Goff was forced to buy time by rolling to his right. All right, cool. We're not going to talk about the trash talk. I did want to pop. There has been some reports of Enos Rakestraw Jr. taking some big steps. Some of the vets are very impressed with what he's doing. I think he's a nice luxury pick to have. Somebody that we don't need to rely on hot and heavy, but will be a nice piece to build around moving forward. So, boys, today was relatively productive. I think we did some good stories. We talked about what the Bryce Huff trade from the Eagles to the Niners means, as it takes one of the teams needing a defensive end off the board. And as teams fill out their roster and Za'Darius Smith continues to be kicked around and left out in the cold, if the Lions are strongly considering bringing him back in for another go around here as just a pass rush specialist, a third down defensive end, it gives us more leverage. There's less teams. In the situation, the reason we let Big Z go was because of money. So for me, frankly, Za'Darius Smith will be an insurance policy, not something that we're really going to actively look at signing. More of a if-then situation. If Pascal gets hurt, when Davenport gets hurt, if there is a hiccup in the development of, Ahmed Hassani, then you go after Za'Darius Smith, but it's got to be a very team-friendly contract. I wouldn't be upset about it. Again, I like the personality and the swag that he brings to the team. I get very, Rasheed Wallace vibes from Big Z. So it's just something to kind of watch as as spring continues to unfold into the summer. We then went over and talked about our guy, Mr. Divisive himself, Jameson Williams. Arf, nice to find your channel. I'll see you again, I'm sure. Ciao for now. Have a good rest of your day, Arf. Stay out of trouble, brother. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Don't call for bail. I'm too broke for it right now. But we talked about both what the expectations are being set forth for Jameson Williams, what we've seen in the limited film coming from out of OTAs. I personally am very impressed. And then the coaching staff is very impressed. Jameson Williams seems to be taking that maturity step that we were all asking him to do. I will side with Mr. Detroit City, though. I'm not going to say I'll believe it the same time I get my jab, but I'm going to have to see it. I got to see it on the field, my guy. I got to see it. I got to see it to believe it with my own two eyes. You know what I'm saying? But the news is very positive. This is what we wanted to see out of camp around Jameson Williams. If we weren't going to move on from him, if we weren't going to go after a wide receiver in this draft, if we were going to put our eggs in the Jameson Williams basket, the news, the clips, everything we're seeing is exactly what we needed to see out of Jameson Williams in his development into this year. After having his breakout over 1,000-yard season last year. We then wandered on over to the Detroit Free Press to talk about our boy Aidan Hutchinson, how he's looking post-leg injury at OTAs, being able to do everything that we were expecting him to, and seems to be exactly on the path, on the exact steps where he needs to be in his rehab. No setbacks as of now, which is absolutely awesome. And I can't wait for that September 7th matchup where he's just going to go off on Jordan Love for 4 sacks. We talked about some players, some veterans sitting out on of OTAs, Alex Anzalone and Frank Ragnow. We kind of speculated what that might be. Then a whole slew of vets, some injured, some just too veteran that they don't need OTAs. And briefly talked about the quarterback 2 battle, something that is, you know, if you like watching short bus riders fight, then that's something that you're kind of into. So now we'll take some of your guys' chats down here. Would love to see rotating with Davenhart. Might help keep him healthy. You're not wrong. And I would love to see Davenhart not be hurt. But you're not wrong, because Davenhart, not necessarily the pass rush guy, could be our first and second down, you know, bookend defensive end that I love to have us collapse the pocket into. And then you bring in Big Z on the third down. You're extending the career of both veterans while mitigating the possibilities for injuries on a Marcus Davenhart. Mr. Detroit City said, Z out there partying on a yacht with Stephon Diggs and their female rappers doing pink substances, LMO. I seen that clip, and I'm not going to lie. All I could think when I seen Steph Diggs out there was, aren't you a little old to be doing that, my man? Aren't you a little old to be out here playing like a rookie? And not for nothing, but you know, you're really not that guy anymore, dude. You aren't elite enough of a wide receiver the past 2 years to be out there pretending like you're him. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was kind of a very bad play by Stephon Diggs, just looking stupid. How many rushing yards and TDs do you think JMO will have? Well, Brent DeWitt, that comes down to what is the offensive scheme. Were the trick plays a Dan Campbell thing, or were they a small PP Benedict Arnold Johnson, the trader in the Windy City thing? A cap, I wouldn't want to see JMO getting more than, depends on how far the plays go, but if we're talking big explosive plays, I'd like to see Jameson Williams get around that 250-yard rushing yard mark with maybe 3 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere around there. The problem with JMO is I would rather utilize him as a wide receiver than risk injury on end arounds or gadget plays. If he's going to be more of a purebred wide receiver, then let the boy play wide receiver. Play on, exactly, Mr. Detroit City. Exactly. So, boys, I think today was a pretty good show. I really appreciate what you guys were able to do. Let's go ahead and look at this poll here. We end up with 5 votes. 80% of you guys think JMO will become beast. And a couple of you said nope, that I'm delusional. And that's fair. That's totally fair. Again, there are no wrong answers in the poll, so we're going to go ahead and close the poll down. Send you guys some hearts in the chat. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. That's what we love about you. Don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell so that you can be part of the Hat and Beard Show every Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Assault the like button while you're down there. Give it the old 2-piece and a biscuit, and then share this video around with all your friends. It's the #1 way to help the channel grow. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out, tuning in, engaging in the chat. Brent DeWitt, Arf, I'm Chasing Chase, and of course, Mr. Detroit City, the guy who's single-handedly growing my channel. Seriously, dude. Have a great day, everyone. One pride worldwide. Best of Mondays to you, Brent DeWitt. Stay out of trouble. Enjoy this warm-up that we're getting today here across sunny mid-Michigan. I got the day off, so I'm going to do a little bit more yard work at my lawn. Finally groomed for the week to where I like it so that it presents well. And then, so we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here at the Hat and Beard Show. I appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out. So you've been an attentive audience. I've been Hat and Beard. Until tomorrow, bonga bonga, frig off.